grandma called head coach. Hey, he pulled me in the office and was like, your grandma called today. I was like, grandma called?
I'm Peanut Tillman, and this is the NFL Players Second Acts podcast. With me, as always, my trusty co-host, Mr. Roman Harper. What's up?
I'm doing good, man. This is going to be a great one right here. This is a legendary guy that we got here, and for a lot of more ways than just being on the football field. So I'm not even going to waste anybody's time. Let's jump right into it, Peanut, because I want to get as much as we can.
I mean, this dude right here is he's your quarterback's favorite quarterback.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? Like, dude,
I like that.
He was him.
Your
like
quarterback's
that.
favorite quarterback.
No doubt.
The number one overall pick, 13-year NFL vet, 4-time Pro Bowler, recent inductee into the College Football Hall of Fame, and now the head coach of Norfolk State. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Michael Vick to the pod.
Let's go.
I hustled to get here today, baby.
Hey, man.
Tell us about that hustle. What you mean you hustled to get here?
Well, I was coming from a rehearsal with Fox, and we was down to the Superdome, and traffic is crazy out there. So it was like I was borderline. It was like 12:40. We went like 1 mile in like 30 minutes. And like, this thing, I'm adding it up. I'm like 2:30 by the time I get here.
Yeah.
I say, man, for my boys, let me out. Told my driver, let me out. I found my way really quick, man. Like, for real, I used the Waze. Boom, put the glasses on, hat down, beeline. I'm here.
Hey, man, New Orleans, they ain't messing with nobody out here.
Nah. It's a good crowd out there. It's a good crowd.
Yeah, everybody cool.
I actually love New Orleans. Everything about it, the culture, people. I know you spent some time here.
Of course.
Just a little bit.
And so, yeah.
Well, how's it, or has it, even sat in that, like, you are a head coach of a college football team?
Yeah.
Ironically,
congrats.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Ironically, this morning, I'm thinking about all the things that I got to do today. I went to sleep kind of early last night, but this morning, I could not get the school, football, everything that was happening within, our football program out my mind. And I'm telling myself, I gotta find some time to get Norfolk State out of my mind, because my whole focus has been to, whatever I got to do on a day-to-day basis to turn the program around. And I'm here, my guys are there. And so I would say that it's really soaking in that, I'm a head football coach, because instantly I felt the responsibility, and I got a lot of people that I can't let down, including myself. But it's been really fun the last month. It's been a lot of work, more than I expected, but kind of anticipated it a little bit.
Yeah.
And so I'm not trying to feel overwhelmed, like I stepped into something that I wasn't ready for, because mentally I've been trying to prepare myself for coaching, because I knew I was going to do it one day, whether it was at the age of 48 or 50. And God put it in front of me at the age of 44. And I'm extremely blessed for that. And I felt like, it was put in front of me for a reason. So go ahead and try to walk through the door.
How are you now at a place where, like you said, I can handle it now?
Always felt the responsibility of carrying a franchise or program. Being a quarterback is a lot of responsibility. And so I'm like taking on that burden now. I feel like I'm back in the same realm, just not with the football in my hands, which makes it a little more frustrating, because it's not for me to go do, it's for me to hand it over to pretty much all my quarterbacks at some point, and for them to go out and execute and do it. So I don't know what that's going to feel like.
Yeah.
But I'm trusting the process.
Yeah. Let's talk about what you were wearing when you did your first press conference. I mean, the jacket, all good. Where the hell was you going with that whistle, though, Mike? Why you had the whistle?
Okay.
Yeah.
I love that whistle. That whistle, man.
So you love
Whistle
the whistle,
man.
You're a whistle.
That whistle, I got it from Jimmy Johnson.
Okay.
And he presented it to me on the Fox set when the announcement was made. And that day I cried so much, man. That whistle is like my comfort level.
Okay.
And I cried, because, it was bittersweet.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, it abruptly happened. And I love working at Fox. I love the people I was with. I love, just the Fox in general, just the whole, company, administration, everybody in it, man. They treated me with such respect over the last 8 years. They allowed me to grow. They gave me time. I feel like I matured there a lot. Yeah. And so, going through this segment, it had been a rough morning, seeing everybody. And then they had a segment that they put together with Jimmy. And so Jimmy presented the whistle to me. And when he gave it to me, it was like a transformation. Like it officially made me a coach, I felt like. And I was like, man, I'm carrying this with me every day, everywhere I go. If in a football setting. I won't want to wear it right now because it'll be weird. But the day I signed, I was like, that whistle was like my comfort level and it kept me from crying. And sometimes it do make me cry. Yeah. Because I think about the moment with Jimmy and I think about just, the transformation is it's a career change. Right. And a lot of people be afraid to change. And I always tell people, don't be afraid to change. I found myself telling people that, don't be afraid to change and experience change because, people are afraid of that. And there was a moment where I had to be, strong in that moment and kind of practice what I preach.
Yeah, so you the head coach. What's the first move you making as your head coach? What's the first decision? What's the first thing you changed?
First move I made as a head coach was hiring a defensive coordinator.
Okay.
Other positions, especially on the offensive side of the ball, I know what I'm looking at. I know what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
But you guys know on defense, excuse me.
No,
you guys know on defense, it's a different dynamic. Like, people take for granted that when we say defenses win championships, people are like, oh man, you just talking. No, it's the truth. We know. You can score as many points as you want, but if you can't get off that field. So I wanted to find a quality D coordinator who, understood defenses and understood what it would take to win in the MEAC conference, and somebody who had experience and loved it, was passionate about the game. And so, my former teammate, Terrence Garvin, he was the guy that I spent a lot of time with over the years. He was at Florida Memorial. He's had a lot of success in his young football career. And I expect him to be a rock star in this game.
And how have you been adjusting to the job since being named head coach?
It's been an adjustment, big adjustment. Spending more time on calls and spending time with donors, fundraising.
Yeah.
Trying to help the school in whatever way I can. That hasn't been really overwhelming. It's been fun.
Yeah.
And knowing that, these are reps that I got to get. These are rooms that I got to sit in, conversations that I got to have, and I can't shy away from it. So I'm looking at it like, man, I'm maturing in a lot of ways, and it's no different than what, Andy Reid might have went through at some point, or Sean Payton or Chip Kelly, all these guys that I've been around or worked with who kind of forewarned me, if you get into coaching, it's a lot of responsibility. So I'm just trying to take it all in stride.
It's funny because a lot of people get into coaching because we love football and the X's and the O's and on the grass. And then the only thing you're telling me about right now is meetings, hugging, kissing babies, raising money.
Sound like you sound like, I mean, you probably just got the job, but you sound like a coach.
Guys, you know why I say that though? Because we know the football part.
Yeah.
I'm just like, can we just get to the games already? But I know spring ball is around the corner, but I can't get to spring ball without handling what I got to handle what's in front of me. And so I'm like, let me back up and take it one step at a time. It's almost like learning the offense. I can't go on the field and try to execute against the defense until I know exactly what I'm doing. And so now, trying to just bring everything together structurally. So when we finally get to the season or we get to spring ball, I can just focus on football. And then I can tell everybody, hey, we're in spring ball right now. Give me a break.
Okay, so I also want to know one more thing because the college athlete now is different than when we were in college.
Yes.
So everything's a little bit different.
Yes.
And so how are you handling today's college athlete when I know we say that we can communicate with them and everybody's going to listen to whatever Mike Vick says to them, right? Like we're all going to hold on to your words. But how are you adjusting as their coach in that I know they're going to be looking at me for guidance and all those other things in front of that room? And how are you looking at this young athlete and like, what are they doing differently or how are you treating them?
Trying to have an open line of communication for them. They all got my number. They all can reach out. They all can call and they all different too. Some of them are more outgoing than the others. Some of them going to pick up the phone. Hey, coach, what you think about this? Hey, coach, I'm trying to figure out this situation. And I know some of them feel like they don't want to bother me, but I make it a point if I'm not busy to get back with them. I want to have an open door policy. I want them to feel like They can call me and talk to me anytime, and that's what I'm there for. I'm there for leadership. I'm there for mentorship, and to teach them football at the end of the day and make them better men. So that's a part of it. Preaching communication and how we got to communicate with one another, and so I got to hold up to my end of the
Do
bargain.
they treat you like a celebrity on that campus? Because like it's got to be a little bit, you know what I mean?
Hey, so a couple of them asked for pictures already. I'm like, man. And I love that for them. I love the fact that they get to soak up the whole experience. And so when a couple of them asked me for pictures, I was like, this is really weird, but I'm not going to say nothing. Come on, let's do it. Because I could have easily been like, no, I'm your coach now. We can take pictures all year.
Yeah.
I was like, let me just get it out the way right now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so after a while, once camp started, once we get into spring ball, and I got to lay into one of them.
Yeah.
That's when they're going to be like, oh, he's really coach for real. Because it's going to happen. It's going to happen. And I want to do it in the most structured way, in the best way where I can communicate it so they understand. Like, you know, I watch coaches like Andy and, you know, Chip Kelly, Dan, we never really raised their voices at guys.
Yeah.
They demanded respect. Y'all know, all coaches are different. We all had coaches who was rah-rah coaches and coaches who, and so I got to figure out, like, what's my middle ground?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what's going to make me a coach that they going to respect? And I think it happens in a split second. Like, when something happens, you either going to lose it or you're going to keep your cool or you're going to handle it how you're going to handle it. And so that's the exciting part I'm ready for in the football aspect of it.
What's one of the best lessons you've learned? You just named some, like, 5 great coaches. What's one of the best lessons you've learned?
Yeah, treat everybody the same, you know, in the program. You know, whether it's the people in the cafeteria, you know, our locker room, you know, treat the janitors the same, secretaries, everybody in the administration. You know, showing them a great deal of respect, you know, because that's what you want. And then ultimately being a leader that everybody feel like they can come to and being accessible. I want to be that guy. When I leave, I want them to say, or if I ever leave or whatever happens, like, he did everything he can to show that, you know, he was just like us. Mm-hmm. And he wasn't the celebrity head coach. He was Mike Vick, the football coach, and he really cared about everything that was happening around us. And I want my coaches to feel the same way. I want everybody to aspire to be great. And, you know, we all take on the same attitude of making sure that we hold ourselves accountable in every aspect.
Tell me, or help me define what success would look like at Norfolk State. This, you know, I don't want to bring up too much, but they were 4-8 last season. And so what does success look like with you guys going forward?
Okay, I'm going to start with the now, because I feel like we got to win in every quarter of the year this year. And so in this quarter, we got to be the best that we can be in our strength and conditioning program. You know, obviously it's a lot of voids and a lot of things that that can be fixed that I pointed out, and we want to start with this quarter. When we get into spring ball, the second quarter, I expect us to go out and be efficient in the spring, learn the offense, learn the little things, the details. I expect the coaches to be on top of the players and the players asking a lot of questions. And as we learn, you know, the newness, and in the summer, I don't want anybody to take any days off. Like, you know, we know how in college football, the summer was really, it was important. I know one summer I took off and all my numbers dropped in the weight room. Like, bench went down, squat went down. The second year after I thought I made it. So you should never really feel like you made it. And then in the final quarter, go out there and let it all out, and ultimately compete for that MEAC championship. That's a successful season. And I'm going to set high standards and high goals, and very lofty. They might be far-fetched, but, you know, we're going to shoot for them. And if we miss, we're going to be right there. It's because it's coming. It's going to happen.
I want to read some names to you. Deion Sanders, Jackson State head coach, former Jackson State head coach. Eddie George, Tennessee State. Terrence Mathis, Morehouse. Deshaun Jackson, Delaware State. Terrell Buckley, Mississippi Valley State.
Terrell Buckley, cornerback. Terrell Buckley?
Yeah,
T-Buck.
Yeah, T-Buck, no doubt. He's a big fan of T-Buck growing up. Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. They'll probably add him to the group chat. We got a group chat with all those coaches that Deion put together, and a really cool chat to let everybody know what's going on. There's players out there because a lot of these players you can't keep. You want everybody to land on their feet. Plus, it's good for the program.
Yeah.
When guys transfer out, that they find a home as well. It really helps. So yeah, but
no, I just wanted thoughts. You got former players becoming head coaches. HBCUs, like it's dope, man. Like
I ran into Eddie the other night, and Eddie and I had a good conversation, and I was telling him I was trying to find a coordinator, and he was like, "Man, I done been through a couple," and I'm like, "Yo, don't tell me that." Is that the process? Just got to find one good one, and then like Terrence and Deshaun, and these guys, T-Buck, as you just mentioned, are really getting the opportunities to come in and be head football coaches, and it wasn't that way a couple years ago. I think
just 5 years ago.
Yeah, just 5 years ago.
Super recent.
So you look at a guy like Deion Sanders, who since the Deion Sanders era started in Atlanta, has been transcending the game of football in so many ways. And here he is, later on in life, enjoying the fruits of labor, enjoying his profession and occupation, and still giving back and helping guys like us. He was one of the first people to reach out. I reached out to him first, but spent some time with him a couple years ago, and told him this is what I wanted to do down the road. And he was just always like, "Why wait? It's not going to take long for you." He always look on the bright side. When I'm thinking in my mind, "Oh no, it's going to be different. I got to work." And he spoke everything into existence. He really did.
I'm just so excited for you guys. I saw D-Jack, he coached in high school for a year back home, in Southern Cal, back at home. And just when you see all these young guys that are now just becoming head coaches, it can only encourage you, I assume, that, you guys are continue to do these things. But do you ever worry about like, man, because as most black coaches, you don't get to fail twice. Is that ever like in the back of your mind, or it's just understood? How do you feel
I'm so afraid to fail. Like I know football is a collective effort, and I'm not going to shy away from this. Man, it's going to start with the coaches.
Yeah.
And Jimmy Johnson told me like it starts with the players, then the coach. I'm gonna kind of look at it all in the sense of like it's got to happen in unison. You got to have good coaches and good players, and then we'll work from there. But always being afraid to fail, I think is going to keep me up at night and keep us working hard. And that's the way it should be. We want that type of pressure. We've been through that type of pressure. And how many nights where the night before the game, you worried about a receiver, you worried about, some type of, double move they might try, and it's going to keep you up, but you prepare for it. And, when it happens, you just got to be ready for it. And fortunately and unfortunately, us as coaches and players going to deal with those moments. And that's perseverance. It's how we come out. When you come out on top and on the other side, y'all know how good that feels. Both of y'all done played on a big stage.
Yes. Yeah. I want to know your thoughts on having two black quarterbacks in the Super Bowl again.
It's amazing. It's amazing. You looking at two guys who got a whole generation of players watching them.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do.
You know what I'm saying? Like what they represent. And this is the second time in 3 years that they've
same too.
Yeah, same too. The best of the best in the National Football League and set high bars and high precedents. And you're looking at two guys who just really believe in themselves and got the right structure around them, got like-minded people around them. And I think that goes a long way. So, man, these guys are so good nowadays, man. Like Jalen, he just had to do his part. He didn't even have to do a lot. And just be smart with the football, not turn it over. And Patrick probably had to do a little bit more because it didn't feel like he had the type of running game that Jalen had. The games wasn't as close at times. So he probably had more responsibility, but, they dominated all the way through. And I say the two best teams made it.
I agree.
Recently, you came out with the evolution of the Black Quarterback documentary.
Both of those guys was in it.
Yeah. And I've watched it. It's amazing.
It's really good.
If you haven't seen it, you got to watch it.
Yeah,
it's
no
amazing.
doubt.
What was one of the most rewarding things by doing that documentary?
To be able to gather all these quarterbacks, and really it was the older guys that, the Warren Moons and the Doug Williams and Shaq Harris, like their stories, it just made me sad, one, but it also made me feel good about taking the game serious as a black quarterback and going to Atlanta and, high expectations without even knowing the background of what they really went through. And in the early 2000s saying, I'm going to try to represent this position the best way I can. I know I'm representing the National Football League, but I also know I'm representing for a generation of quarterbacks that's going to come after me. Without even knowing that I was going to have success. I'm like, I know that this is a major moment, but I looked at the National Football League and I'm making the decision. The Atlanta Falcons, I would say, to draft me number one, and Dan Reeves drafted me number one. It showed a change in time, and it showed a shift, in society, I felt like. And then 10 years later, man, you got Cam Newton, Russell Wilson, Cap, RG3, you know what I'm saying, breaking in. And then, it's just, now you got Lamar and Patrick and Jalen. It's like, oh, we can do this, man. We can do this. So, yeah, that's what going back to those old stories. And I wanted to go back to that and then work forward to where we are today.
Yeah, you did a great job.
Yeah, man. And you talk about the evolution. I got the numbers for you right here. This year, it was the 15 black quarterbacks started in week one.
Yeah.
It was the most in NFL history. Wow. And in 2001, when you were drafted, 10 teams still hadn't even had a black quarterback before.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, see, I didn't know that. That should have been.
It's not even that long ago, but that's the crazy part. It's not that, like, I was born when Warren Moon had to deal with all this. Like, it wasn't, and then, like, I was alive. It wasn't that long ago.
And so, and just imagine that.
Yeah.
In 2001, when you got drafted and we became the starting quarterback, there's still teams that still hadn't even had one yet. So that is far the evolution has come. And who is your favorite quarterback in the NFL right now?
Man, I like so many of them, man.
I'm only giving you one.
You only giving me one?
I'm only giving you one, Mike. I'm going to make it hard on you. I'm not going to let you get out of this.
Okay.
Don't give us the politically correct one.
No,
this guy. No.
I'm going to give you my favorite quarterback
to watch. I'm not saying
when the TV come on.
Yeah, I want to watch. I'm not saying you got to pick and build a team.
I can name a lot of them. But, man, when Patrick Mahomes come on, it's like, because I grew up Steve Young.
Yeah.
And then John Elway. And so, I love Steve because Steve was left-handed and Steve was a scrambler, but I love John because John was just scrappy and he was right. He threw with his right hand, but he wore number 7, and I loved the number 7. And he was just like, he was amazing. He'll run it a little bit. He had a cannon, 4 Super Bowls, never. And I'm like, John was more exciting than Steve, and he played in more games. So instantly, when I was in camp with the Kansas City Chiefs in 2017, I was like doing an internship for coaching, actually. And I was just like, man, this dude is, before he even touched the field, he's a rookie. I'm like, he's John Elway all over again. I told Andy that he's John Elway, just movement and strong arm. And then he just took the league by storm. So it's like when 15 come on, like I stop everything to watch 15 for sure.
You're not. I mean, it's a good pick.
No doubt.
It's a great pick.
You
couldn't go wrong. I don't think anyone's
facing
offended.
Adversity.
Yeah.
Fourth quarter,
down by.
Don't matter.
Bro.
He put his cape on.
Oh, he put the cape on his back every time.
Yeah.
Every time.
I want to know, what was your welcome to the NFL moment?
It's actually playing against the Bears.
Oh.
I think it was maybe week 2 or 3, and the Bears came to Atlanta, and I was a rookie. I was still learning the offense, and Big Ted Washington was in the middle.
Yeah.
Mike Brown was at safety. Urlacher was in the middle. And I just remember, like, going into the game, Chris Chandler went down, and I'm like, yo, okay, I'm about to go in and I'm going to get my feet wet. And I was coming out of preseason, too. I had a really good preseason. But that game was so hard. And I was making throws and I was making plays, but it's like, I'll take 10 steps forward and then I take 20 steps back. First down, nice pass, then a sack. First down, and then a strip, sack, fumble.
Mm-hmm.
Man, and I just never forget how intense it was. To make matters worse, scrambled out to the left side, ran on their sideline, and it was just I just heard somebody like, take out his legs. And I'm like, hold on. Y'all already beating the living life out of us. Y'all still, and that's when I realized like, it ain't no friends. When you step on that, we was just joking before the game, like talking, you know how it be, everybody talking, how's your family? You know, how's your transition? I'm like, okay, it's gonna be, man. We got in the game, them boys was flying around, and I was, this the league. This ain't college football. This ain't Virginia Tech versus Syracuse or Virginia Tech versus Boston College. This great on great every day.
See, I thought you would have said the hit with Brian Dawkins. When you
that was 4 years later. Now, if you go back and watch that game against Chicago, man, bro, I took some shots that day. It was so bad. My grandmother, rest in peace, Kalitha. My grandmother called up to the Atlanta Falcons facility and was like, y'all got to protect him better. And he was taking a lot of hits because my grandma, I'm coming out of college where it was flawless. Yeah. And she just seen me get whipped by 30 and not even like do anything. Yeah. And then, being a backup, Chris Chandler went down. I'm a rookie. It was just really, really hard and complicated out there.
I just love the fact that grandma called the facility, not the coach.
Grandma called head coach. Hey, he pulled me in the office and was like, your grandma called today. I was like, grandma called? I called and said, Grandma, I'm grown. I'm gonna figure it out, Grandma. Please don't embarrass me like that. Coach was like, your grandma called up here today. Is there something I should know? Nah, Coach, we good.
What is your favorite game you ever played in?
My favorite game that I played in was the game against Green Bay, the playoffs. That game right there, not just because we was the underdogs, a couple of reasons. Brent Favre was on the other side.
Yep. Green Bay had never lost their home.
And I remember Coach in the beginning of the week saying, everybody is against us. They never lost their home. And I'm like, that's something to play for right there. But I'm like, man, Brent Favre over there, though. I done seen him carve up teams over the years. As I was a young kid watching, it's going to be impossible to beat them. It was snowing, but it was like not too cold. And the snow wasn't coming down too. It was like the perfect night. Yeah. John Madden up in the booth. I'm like, yo, this is like what I've dreamt of. An opportunity to, obviously go one step further to the divisional round of the playoffs. And I was in the zone that night. We came out the first drive and scored, and we won 27-7. And that was just like one of the easiest games I ever played in. I don't know why. I don't mean easy, but you had some games where you just make zero mistakes. Yeah, y'all know you like really no mistakes. Yeah.
We talked about this where, I've been in games where like, dude, I got a feeling about the block is going to be run, and I'm already, and every single time I was just right. And you just, every anticipating right, this, that, and that, you're just literally in the zone. You don't know why, but everything's just super.
You was on that team in the New Orleans 2012?
Yes.
Philly became here?
Yep.
Yeah, he was in the zone that night. We couldn't do nothing. Yo, bro, that was a tough night.
Yeah, that was
y'all be like that sometimes.
It does, we were here.
Then y'all came to, I don't want to talk about all these losses, but, I'm talking about y'all being on top of y'all game. Y'all came in 2011 to Philly, Chicago.
Yeah.
Then we played y'all in 2010 too.
Yeah.
No, the best ones was, 2006, the reopening of the Dome here. That was a tough loss for you. I spoke to you.
You was on that team?
Yeah, that was my rookie year.
Wow.
I was so excited to play against Mike Vick. I was just like, dude, like that's Mike Vick on the other side because, I'm Madden guy. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, and everybody loved playing with the Michael Vick Experience.
That was
even speaking to your wife, she's like, That was the only game I ever been. It was like, we have no chance to win this game.
It's the only game I've ever been in. I came out of it like questioning my abilities. Like, I don't know how much longer I can do this, because that right there, I've never been shut down. You know, you had those moments where you get dominated. It shook my confidence a little bit.
And you still played great. It was that night.
Yeah,
like nobody was.
I don't think you could have did anything.
Yeah,
like
couldn't did nothing. Like,
that was
that
just,
block kick in the beginning. By
Steve Gleason.
Steve.
Yeah.
Bro, that was legendary. Right then and there, I was like, we have no chance of winning this. It's funny because Jim Moore, I love Jim Moore. I think it might have been a Thursday night, maybe something.
When? That game?
It was Sunday night, yeah.
It was Monday night.
And Jim was like, yeah, they think they setting us up, and you know, we got to play them coming back out. And I was like, yeah, man, we going to go in there. Bro, I instantly felt the energy. The city was back. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Which y'all won the ship a couple years later.
Yeah, we did.
I felt the energy watching it on TV.
Man.
Like that's how real it was.
And you know, that was my first time in that building. So like because we were, you know, Hurricane Katrina. So it was literally just my first time in the building. I didn't feel any of that emotion.
Wow.
I was like looking around and seeing people crying, seeing people hugging, the emotions in the building. And you could probably see it on your sideline too.
Yep.
But to me, I didn't understand why.
Right.
Because I had never been in there previously before. But now as I've gotten older and look back at it, I appreciate being in that moment and in that building just for what it was. You know, it's unfortunate versus
it's like
you
every
guys,
time I come here to New Orleans, I think about that, and I'm just like proud that the city bounced back the way it did. And then, you know, we had the tragedy. Oh, bro, you can't catch a break right now.
I think that was just a bigger than football moment right there.
Yeah, for sure. That was bigger than football.
Absolutely.
No doubt.
Absolutely.
I want to talk about, you know, we talked about some of your losses. Let's talk about something that I know you're probably extremely proud of, and that is going to the College Football Hall of Fame. You're in the class of 2025 with some other big names, Michael Strahan, Nick Saban's going in, Urban Meyer, Haloti Ngata's another one. And before you give me your answer, I think it's important to know who and where you come from as well, Mike, because like I said earlier, you always have felt like you had to carry the lot for a lot of people around you, your family, your brother, your friends, right, from your city. Like, you've always done that. And then also your past that's checkered as well. But one of the biggest things that it says to be inducted into the College Football Hall of Fame is that it involves this. This is their criteria. While each nominee's football achievements in college are a prime consideration, his past football record as a citizen is also weighed. He must have proven himself worthy as a citizen, carrying the ideals of football forward into the relations with his community. So when you hear that you check that box, what does that make you feel?
That's probably one of the biggest, compliments that I can obtain right now in my life, man. And, you know, everybody make mistakes. And some of them are just more detrimental than others. And obviously I made a mistake that was like detrimental in like the middle of my career, in my prime. And had plenty of nights to think about making it right. And so, you know, my promise to myself, my family, and the people who poured into me was, I'm going to do everything I can. Because it can't be just to try to make amends for the public so it look a certain way. You got to, you know, when you fall that far, you got to, you know, your heart got to be into, you know, your passion got to be into, you know, I'm going to do things the right way. And taking on that mantra, which Coach Beamer always said in team meetings, in life, you got to do things the right way. And I came back with that mindset, man. And ever since 2009, I've been trying to do things the right way. And for you to read that and for me to just hear that, as far as the criteria, you know, it makes me really proud. It makes me really proud, man. It's bigger than football. You know, it's about your belief in yourself and your perseverance. And man, those are the same principles and values that I can pass down to my kids. And, you know, if they ever get out of line, hey, I want you to read this quote right here, the one you just read. Because I had to battle. I had to fight. And it was a good fight. And it made me the person that I am today. And, you know, obviously you don't get an opportunity to do certain things like work on Fox or be a head coach if you don't meet those criteria.
Right.
And that was before, this even happened. So, people paid attention and, checked those boxes. And you know what? I'm going to keep checking them. You know what I'm saying? That right there going to keep me, I want to continue to try to be a better person and continue to set high standards for sure.
How does your past, how does your past fuel you just to motivate you to be better today?
Yeah, just for real, a one day at a time approach.
Yeah.
Knowing that you can go 23 hours in a day, doing the right thing, and you slip up in that final hour, and then that's what they're gonna remember. That's what they're gonna talk about.
Right.
So it can be the most minute things. And so to think every situation through. And now being a coach, like the standards that I'm setting for myself or setting for the young men, I got to set for myself as well. Mm-hmm. And so, just being conscious in the moment always, and, knowing that, not just for the players, but for even my kids, and, and I probably should, reference them first, being the best example that I can be for them. Because I'm always monitor them. I'm always try to be the quarterback in the house, and, send them off and let them run the play, man, and then hopefully they execute it.
How old are your kids?
My oldest son is 22. He's aspiring to be an actor. My oldest daughter is 20. She was playing flag football. My 17-year-old daughter just got her license today.
Okay.
So that's a little scary. Watch out out there. And then I got a 7-year-old son who just finished his first year of flag football. Just recognizing what was going on. He really wasn't locked in, but it was a good experience to watch him out there. He like, Daddy, I want to play tackle. Bro, you got to learn to pull a flag first.
That's my son. That's my son. He's like, Dad, flag's boring. I'm like, bro, you're all right, man. Learn how to play in space.
1 year at a time.
That's it.
Yes.
And football is the one sport that you can play later and still be great at it.
I mean, I know guys who started playing that junior year and made it to the league and been some of the best. So, you got time.
Yes.
Yeah. So my last question is, we've asked this question to a lot of people that came on the pod. Mount Rushmore, if you had your personal Mount Rushmore of people that have helped you, shaped you, molded you, mentored you, coached you, just to get you from when you was a little pup to where you are right now, a head coach of Norfolk State, who would those 4 people be?
Wow, man. It's all coaches, man, ironically. Because I felt like they was always the ones who was like there when I needed them the most.
Yeah.
My high school coach, Tommy Ringman. College coach, Frank Beamer. Dan Reeves and Jim Moore. And then Andy Reid. And there's a lot of people in between, but it's like, part of the reason I wanted to become a head coach is because I know what it means to a young man who just needs some guidance.
Yeah.
And sometimes we might not have both parents in the household. It's something might be lacking. Mm-hmm. A lot of kids are different. Some are outgoing. Some of them are introverted. I was one of the introverted kids, and they had to pull a lot out of me. It took strength to, coach, I need some help with this, coach. Or what you think about this? And I want to be that for them, for my players, for my kids. And so when I think about all the greatest mentors in my life, man, I just think about the guys who coached me.
Well, Mike, man, dude, you're awesome as always.
No doubt, man.
Can't
Thanks
wait
for
to get back
me, man.
on the fairways with you, dog.
No doubt.
Really proud of you, man. Honestly, bro.
Thank you, man.
I got to play golf.
This is awesome. You got to get out there.
You know what? I do want to ask one more question.
Go ahead.
The Michael Vick Experience.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Probably one of the greatest, most underrated commercials of all time. If you could have a roller coaster, like what would it actually be?
Just like that.
It would be just like that.
Guys like y'all coming at me, you coming down in the box, peanut punching at the ball, me trying to get away. Man, that was like a commercial that I didn't approve of because I'm like, man, I need something more urban. I need to be running through the neighborhood.
Yeah.
Sweatsuit on, sweating, and, something that's more dramatic. And now that I look at that commercial, I'm like, yo, they knocked that one out the park.
Knocked it out the park.
They knocked that one out the park because, it's about longevity.
Right.
And we got generations who still talk about that commercial and the Michael Vick Experience, somebody was way ahead of their time. So yeah, it was a cool moment, man. Definitely cool.
You
moment.
were a trendsetter at the position.
I had my own shoes.
Yeah,
like you don't get that if you're not doing something right. So
you were a trendsetter.
Are you gonna bring them back like Prime?
I'm trying to work on the retro with Nike. Hopefully, they'll see that it's worth it and it makes sense to them. And so it, part of the reason I took the job, I found out there was a Nike school. I'm like, man, we can do something with this.
Yeah.
So hopefully, man, I'm praying.
And then get them in the golf version too, so I can scoop that.
Oh yeah, we definitely making a golf shoe for sure.
Okay, bet.
Oh man,
different brand, but
we appreciate you coming on.
Hey man, y'all were great, man. This was awesome, bro.
This was so dope. I've always been a fan of yours.
No doubt.
I'm a Michael Vick fan.
No doubt, man.
Appreciate you coming on.
Same,
Blessing
man.
us.
No doubt, man.
Wishing you nothing but success.
Yep,
This
and congrats
upcoming
on the Hall of
season.
Fame too.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Yes, sir.